Hola amigos, this is Level 12 and today we are going to be doing a Sally Face rant. Now, some of you may not know what Sally Face is, some of you may know what Sally Face is. For those of you that don't know what Sally Face is a 2D side-scrolling adventure game in the genres of supernatural, horror, and mystery. There's tons of little things in the game that just make it really great. It's amazing. It was created by a portable moose whose real name is Steve Gabry. I'll leave a link to his website in the description below so you can figure out everything. Episode 1 was released in 2016. Episode 2 released the following year in 2017. Episode 3 and 4 were released last year in 2018, and the final episode is set to be released later this year. I heard a rumor that it was supposed to be released in like April, March, May, that kind of area, but Steve Gabry, he works on this game alone. He makes all the music, the art, the engine, the story all by himself. It's a one-man team, and what he has done as a one-man team is amazing. Like, you can watch Jacksepticeye play it, you can watch iHas Cupquake play it. There's tons of good Let's Players who have played all that is out so far, but I highly recommend, if you're able to buy the game and play it for yourself, because it's really good. It follows the adventures of a boy named Sal Fisher, Sally Face, as he moves into a new apartment building with his dad after... I could have said it better than losing his face, but he got attacked by a dog when he was a child, and his mom also got attacked by a dog and died. That's really ambiguous, but his mom is dead, and he wears a prosthetic face mask thing, and I'm not entirely sure why they moved, but it wasn't 100% because he lost his face, because he lost it in childhood. And the main characters are Sal, Larry, who lives in the building, Ashley, a friend of theirs, and Todd, who also lives in the building, whose parents are hippies. Okay, so before I talk about things that I don't like concerning animes or games or movies, I usually talk about what I like, and I love the art, the music, it's rock and roll. My favorite song, I actually have some of the songs, well, one of them at least, on my favorites playlist, and it's just like rock. Steve Gabry is really good with his music. The story is really interesting. There are some parts that, because Jacksepticeye doesn't like follow every facet of the game, that is confusing. There's a bunch of little things you have to do to get 100% of the story, like Larry is an alien. Like, you don't get that unless you're actively searching for it. It's a lot. But the main story itself is very good. The characters are amazing. They all seem very real. They all seem very great. There's some really unique gameplay. There's a part, I believe it's in episode 2, where to continue the story you have to play on a Game Boy, or it's a Super Game or Super Boy thing, because, you know, Game Boy's copyrighted. It's also very LGBT friendly, both the game and the community. Todd has a boyfriend, and there's another gay character in it, Travis, who it's assumed he has a crush on Sal, but he acts really homophobic because his dad is a priest. It's very LGBT friendly, and it's great. And again, guys, this is literally one of my favorite modern horror games. Like, I love it so much. I wouldn't cosplay something unless I loved it dearly, except for my Nier cosplay, but that was just because it was easy. But I love Sally Face so much. It's one of my favorite games. I've made and sold toys for it. Steve Gabry does allow you to do that, but he'd prefer if you bought from his shop, and trust me, when I have the money, I'm going to buy stuff from his shop, because I want Sally Face merch, official Sally Face merch. And it's just, I love this game so much, but all great games have horrible fandoms. We got Homestuck, we got Undertale, Sally Face is on the path. So, as I said before, Sally Face is on the path of destruction that Undertale and Homestuck have gone through, and that is because the fandom is literal trash. I don't interact much with the Sally Face fandom because they're kind of scary, and most of them are Russian, so I can't even read what they write. But, the shipping. So Steve Gabry on his FAQs, the last question concerns shipping, and he's like, what do you think about shipping? And he's like, I don't give my opinions on it. I just think it's cool people play my game. Paraphrasing, of course, but so in the games, it's very lightly hinted at that Sal's dad likes Larry's mom, because Larry's dad is an alien and he got beamed back to his spaceship. I promise it makes sense in game. But it's very slightly hinted at throughout episode 2, episode 3 that Sal's dad likes Larry's mom. Very lightly hinted at. Just a little sprinkling. Not a lot. To where in episode 4 you find out they've gone off and they've married. It's kind of sudden in my opinion, but whatever. So that would make Larry and Sal brothers. And I have this theory that Portable Moose, Steve Gabry, did this on purpose because he didn't like to see the shipping between Sal and Larry. And oh boy, is there a lot. Now, I know male friends can act what some would perceive as romantic with each other, such as hugs and stuff like that, and they even hug in the game. It's all very sweet. But I've always interpreted that as really close friends and brotherly. Like, I see them so much as brothers. And people... I don't say anything bad to the people that ship Sal and Larry. I don't. But I still think in the back of my mind that it's kind of gross because they are really close best friends and they're brothers, and Sal has never shown interest in being bi or gay, and he really, really likes Ashley. Like, there's an entire meme on that he likes Ashley. Like, it's a thing that exists, and the people that are so hardcore Sal and Larry shippers go really far with their fan art. Like, full on pornography, if you'll allow me to say that. And it's slightly disgusting, which is why I think Steve Gabry, to stop it, made Sal's dad and Larry's mom marry. Obviously, that didn't stop anyone, which now makes it incestuous. And that's kinda gross. And I'm pretty sure illegal. But, you know, shipper's gonna ship. And it's just gross to see it. Like, in the fandoms I'm in, I don't ship incest. Like in Hetalia, it's kind of harder to determine what's incest or not because some are adoptive, some are bloodkin, which is why I'm very, very cautious with what I ship. But yeah, I don't ship the incest. That's kind of gross. Big old no from me, fam. And in Sally Face, it's a lot. It's very prevalent. Like I'm only on the Instagram community, but it's a lot on there. Like a lot, and it's kind of gross, kind of not my thing. And I wish it would stop because it gives us a bad name. And also, some people are very protective of their ships, and it's gross. I wish it didn't exist. The next thing I want to talk about is something that's very prevalent on Instagram, but not prevalent anywhere else I look, which is UwU Sal. I didn't really know how to talk about this. I didn't really know what to call it. It's just something you experience as you're in the fandom, and it's this thing where the fandom makes Sal very UwU? I don't know. It's something you see and experience as you scroll through the Sally Face tag on Instagram. I mean, like, okay, so I don't mind gender bending characters, but I do mind when you make them trans. When Steve Gabry on his FAQs has said Sal is male, cis male, and people make him FTM, which gets on my nerves for multiple reasons, but the main one is that's a mental disorder, and you're giving him a mental disorder which he doesn't have, but he has others, all right, and it's just unnecessary. And it's because Sal does have a very feminine appearance, or at least, well, he has, people call him Sally, and he has pigtails, so people kind of just assumed he was a girl, but he dresses very androgynous. Yes. Also, people just put Sal in dresses for some reason. There's actually an AU, that yellow dress is actually part of an AU, alternate universe, where Sal is just always in that dress, and I don't know. Something else that annoys me when just by accident of the person who drew the pink fan art is sometimes people don't draw his scars on his face, and his face got mauled off by a dog, and it's hinted at he lost an eye. And it's really annoying when people don't draw his face being deformed, because while I said this game was very good for LGBT, it's also a very good representation of people who have a kind of disability. Like Sal, he has a face prosthetic, and when you draw that, you erase something that was very good about the game, which parts of it are about accepting someone who's different and making it the main character, such as Sal, who has a face defect because of the accident. And it's a very good game of being very inclusive. It's just a great game. And when people don't draw the scars on the face, and listen, I know some people can't handle the blood and the gore, because some people really do go overboard with it, and some people, I'm even fine if you only draw like a couple scars across the face. Like, you're making an attempt there, because drawing scars and drawing wounds isn't everyone's cup of tea, but it's when you completely leave it out. And again, the person who drew the pink one did state that they just forgot it, but it's when you intentionally do it and you continue to do it that it annoys me. And also, people want to not talk about the fact Sal has trauma. Probably a lot of trauma, let's be real here. Some people I've read in their captions, and I've read a few fanfictions where Sal just doesn't have it. Like, he's not affected at all by being attacked by a dog, by his mom dying, by all of the creepy stuff he puts up with. It's just, never happened. And that's annoying, because, again, this game is really good at showing how someone deals with trauma, showing how people deal with going to therapy, show things that aren't often shown in games. And it's super annoying when people just disregard that because he's an UwU emo scene boy. It's trash, and I wish people would... Again, people have their own headcanons and they interpret the fandom in their own ways, and it's, unless it's the game itself, it's almost practically impossible to show all of that in one picture or one fanfiction. But it's just when they blatantly ignore it, and they do it on purpose, repeatedly, that it gets on my nerves, because you're disrespecting a really good game by doing that, and you're taking away something very important about the game. I'm not saying every art has to look dark and broody and moody. Some of my favorite Sally Face fan art is when Sal, Larry, Ash, Todd, all of them are just being goofy. I'm not saying it 100% all the time has to be that dark, moody, broody art, but you also should understand that the game isn't sunshine and rainbows, and Sal has been through trauma. It's when people want to ignore it that it gets on my nerves. And listen, I've drawn Sally Face fan art, and it's not the moody broody art. I get that, but like, it gets on my nerves when people just blatantly ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist ever in canon. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. We did get a good rant out of this, I will admit. So yeah, that was the Sally Face rant. Again, it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's like up there with The Last of Us and The Walking Dead. I know, zombie games, right? Predictable. But I really do like the fandom. We might continue down the path of Undertale and Homestuck and Hetalia if we continue to be kind of trash. Please stop doing that. If you're trash, or let me say this. If you're being rude to people outside of the fandom, or you're being rude to people inside the fandom, and making a mockery of the game, or other people, or Steve Gabry, who I love and worship the ground he walks on. He has another game. It's in demo. You should all play it. You're trash, and I don't want to associate with you, because you're mean. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more random fandom things. Ciao, chicos.